Hey, it's Jeff with Treeline Sports, and welcome back to another edition of Milsurp Rifle. And today we have for you a 1903 Springfield rifle. The 1903 Springfield rifle is a 30-06 cartridge rifle, and it was developed in 1903 by Springfield, hence its name, 1903 Springfield. This gun was produced after the Spanish-American War, and it was discovered at the time that the Spanish, using an M93 Mauser, or Spanish Mauser at the time, really outperformed any rifle that we had of the day, that being primarily the U.S. Krag, and we also had some trapdoors for troops during that time. The U.S. did, in fact, win that conflict. However, heavy troop loss proved to be a point to come up with a new design. And Springfield actually did copy this design from Mauser. In fact, they were actually had to pay through royalties back to Mauser Works a $250,000 patent fine, if you will, prior to World War I. So a lot of the gun is, in fact, Mauser-like. However, there are, and we'll go into it, a lot of features that the U.S. did produce into this gun that you won't find, say, in some of the early Mausers of that time. So I would say it's an improved version of the Mauser, but it is in a lot of ways a copy of the Mauser. Now, the 1903 Springfield went through a lot of changes from 1903 till about 1906. In 1903, it's in its early adoption phase, but there were a lot of changes made to the gun. In fact, even Theodore Roosevelt, our president at the time, got involved. Originally, they had incorporated a spiked bayonet, which was added to the rifle, and they also had it chambered in a 30-03 round, which was a 220 grain round nose bullet at the time. So somewhere between 1903 to 1906, the rifle really changed quite a bit. They removed the spiked bayonet and they went to an affixed type bayonet, or in the 1903's case, it was almost a sword. They also did away with the 220 grain 03 round and added, of course, the 1906. And again, this was mainly due to what Germany was doing at the time. We were needing to keep up. We needed higher feet per second round. We needed a Spitzer round to perform as well or better than foreign troops. So that's what we did, and that's how this whole thing came to birth. Now, I'm going to go over the bolt with you and kind of give you an idea of what a few of the differences are versus, say, a Mauser made from Germany today. If we look at the bolt design, you'll notice it looks very similar to a Mauser bolt. And when you open it, it does cock on the open position. It has a 3-lug system, and it also has that safety. Now, in this case, obviously, all the writing is in English, so you'll have ready or fire mode. You can put it in half safe, which also will allow you to take the bolt apart, and of course full safe, which again locks the bolt in place and of course will not let you fire the weapon. So very, very similar to the German bolt. However, to remove the bolt, instead of where it would have a lever here on a typical Mauser that you're familiar with from Germany, on this one you have another switch on this side, and this is what they call a magazine cutoff. And you'll see now it is in, if you can read it, it'll say on, and that means you can cycle all 5 rounds, or in some cases 6 rounds, out of your box magazine. And if we switch that to right there in the center position, I can remove the bolt totally. So that's how you get the bolt out of the weapon. And of course, if you put this on half safe, you can take the bolt apart. Now, the firing pin in this is a 2-part firing pin. So it'll allow you to take the firing pin off of the main strut and then add it again if you so desire. So just know that it is a two-part firing pin. I'm going to put it back. And if we throw the lever all the way down, or what we'll now say off, the bolt will not come all the way back, allowing you to strip off and throw in another cartridge. And this was basically a single fire mode. It was done to conserve ammunition. Just know that if you're not cycling, most likely it's because the switch is in off position. So you want to put that in on position. And the other thing that's really fascinating on this weapon is the sight. This sight is like no other and that I've ever seen on a military rifle. It not only gives you elevation, but it also does allow you to adapt for windage, which is great because a lot of Mauser guns, as you know, are not easy to adapt for windage. This one is. They referred to this gun, some guys call it the .3, and that's what it was called at the time by troops back in the day. They said, did you get your .3? Today, it's referred to as a rifleman's rifle. And a lot of CMP shoots will actually shoot these in competition. These things are known to be tremendously accurate, and mainly it's due to this sight. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'll let you do your own research on the sight. But basically, you have 5 apertures, and they are considered A, B, C, D, and E apertures. It's now in what they call the battle aperture. Now, on a Mauser gun, you have the leaf which will slide on a ramp, bringing it up and down. On this gun, you actually pick it up and then use the elevator. So you have the first one being a volley, the second one being a U, this being a peep, now a second peep, and then of course your battle position. So just know that. And I typically shoot this weapon this way, and I like to use the very last peep sight, and I find that to be crazy accurate. I have no trouble at all. Some people say they can't see through it and can't find the front sight. Personally, I don't have that problem. It could be the way your eyes are, I don't know, but that is a terrific way to shoot it. And again, you can adapt using this knob right here. You can adapt for windage or your left and right. Now, since we're talking about sights, something that's interesting on this particular gun, you notice it has a hood. And a lot of these guns did not have hoods. This was actually put on by the United States Marine Corps. Marine Corps liked the hood. They wanted a hood adapted, so they came up with this design. So most likely this particular rifle was issued to a Marine Corps troop. Also, let's take a look at the rear of the stock. If you look at the rear of the stock, you will find a little trap door. And if we open this up, and give me a minute, I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, so a little bit trouble opening the trap door. You could do it if you had fingernails, which I don't have, but anyway, you open this trap door, and in this particular rifle I have the original cleaning kit, and what you'll find in this kit, one side is an oiler. It's just a stem. It looks like a finishing nail, and there would be oil in there, and you could specifically put oil where you wanted to go. And then the opposite side is there's a pull through and a 30 cal brush. And in mine, there was an old, looked like a piece of canvas with some notes written on it. I could not, for the life of me, make it out. But who knows? Very fascinating things. These are the kind of things that you may find in your gun. So I always urge you, take a look inside and see what's in there. Who knows? Maybe an old photograph. I've heard stories of guys finding cigars in there. Who knows? But anyway, this was in mine. I thought that was pretty neat, and I thought I'd share it. So anyway, let's get back. Now let's talk about the stock a little bit. U.S. troops were issued this gun in walnut stock. To my knowledge, there was no other wood or other stock material that was used. I've never seen a laminate stock, nor have ever heard of a laminate stock. So to my knowledge, all U.S. rifles, or all 1903 rifles, were walnut at the time. And you will find proof marks in the wood on these guns. You'll find the cross cannons, as well as some other proof marks, or the P, if you will, on here, proving that it is in fact a U.S. military stock. So when you purchase those, if you're interested in purchasing one of these, you want to look for that. Now, something interesting, if you are interested in buying one of these, I do caution you to look over the serial number on these guns. Some of the earlier serial numbers were only single heat treated, and it was known that some of them may suffer from fatigue or failure, mainly cracking, when using, the 30-06 round. I've never seen this happen, and from the research that I've done, I believe it was mostly caused by incorrect ammunition. Actually, German ammunition was put into these rifles and caused those cracks, as well as even high pressure rounds during testing were put in to determine whether or not the receiver would hold up. However, being that it was single heat treated, hey, if I were going to buy it, I would say look for a high serial number. Do yourself a favor just to be safe. Why not? Never hurt, never wrong to be too cautious. Anyway, so if it's a Rock Island, you want to stay above 250,000 in that serial number code. And if it's a Springfield, you want to stay above 850,000. So try and get one of those. If not, hey, take it to a gunsmith, test it on the range carefully, and just make sure that you're safe. I didn't want to see anybody get hurt shooting one of these, so just know that, be careful, and hey, best of luck. Anyway, if you have any questions or want to see a close-up of one of these, hey, don't hesitate to shoot us an email. We try and respond to everybody. Let's go ahead and do some shooting and have some fun. Now, today we are going to be shooting Remington. I've got two types of Remington ammunition which we're going to shoot. I got Remington 150 grain soft point, which should be entertaining. I did set up some apples, as well as Halloween's over, so it's pumpkin season. I got a lot of pumpkins down there, so it should be quite entertaining. The other round that we're going to be shooting is a full metal jacket round, and again 150 grain. Now, U.S. troops, factoid for you, did utilize 150 grain Spitzer round for this weapon. Originally, as I said, it was developed for a 220 grain .3 round. However, when they went to the 06, it was designated to go to 150 grain. So anyway, terrific round. Let's see what it does, and have some fun. Now, like I tell you guys all the time, before shooting any weapon, whether it be milsurp or new, always have eye protection as well as hearing protection. Put them on prior to shooting any gun, and always know what you're shooting at, what's going to stop that round, and hey, what may be behind you, and hey, nobody gets hurt. Also, hey, please like and subscribe to our video channel. We love to hear your comments. I try to get back to everybody, and a lot of you guys have told us some terrific stories, or may have insight, as well as maybe we said something that's not correct. We're not perfect. We're certainly open to criticism. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Love to have you back again. Anyway, let's go out and shoot the 1903 Springfield and see how she does. We're going to start off today using the full metal jacket round 150 grade bullet, see what that does. And as I said, it is pumpkin season. We got some pumpkins down there, so it should be entertaining. Full metal jacket probably won't do much, but let's see if we can hit one. Safety first. Eyes. Ears. Going to be firing one round at a time, so I'm going to use the magazine cutoff. Safety off, on hot, let's get some. See if we can get the apple first. pumpkin. Extremely accurate, hit all the targets accordingly. Now, one thing I will say, this bolt is extremely smooth. I had no chamber adaptation whatsoever. Operated similar to a Mauser as it should. And hey, I think you're going to like this gun if you decide to go out and get yourself one of these. Terrific shooters. Anyway, let's switch over to soft point and see what we can do with that. Okay, I'm going to switch over to soft point and see what that does. Again, I'm going to put the magazine cutoff on, do one round at a time. This is Remington 150 grain soft point ammunition. On hot. Let's get some. Noticeable difference. See if I can take out that apple. Nailed it. Just ridiculously accurate. We got one pumpkin down there, hasn't had a hit yet. Let's see if we can hit that one. Let's see if I can go through two of them. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. 1903 Springfield. Go get yourself one. And please, again, like and subscribe. We'd love to have you on board. Take care. Have a good day.